Hello guys, my name is Xiaoling Feng, and the sharing I bring is the tragedy of keyless entry in modern cars. First, an introduction. I come from Xiaomi's security team. We are dedicated to researching cutting-edge security technologies, developing automated platforms, and conducting security assessment and production for smart devices to improve security of Xiaomi's products. Team members have participated in events like DEFCON, TINF Cup, Butian Cup, and won grand prizes multiple times. And the first, old bottle, new wine. The relay attacks are a security risk caused by modern keyless entry system. Before 2016, some BLE-based relay tools like GetAttack have been publicly disclosed, which perform attacks by immutating the gap layer in the BLE protocol stack. Relay attacks use multiple relay devices to forward signals from a legitimate indicator to the target device, bypassing physical distance restrictions. So, in fact, defending against a common gap layer relay attack is easy. It is because in the BLE protocol stack, conventional BLE relaying tools mainly perform relay attack against the gap layer in the host layer. However, the BLE protocol also includes the SMP, aka Security Manager Protocol, and this layer for encryption BLE communication. As long as device adopts the link layer encryption feature built into BLE, it can effectively prevent relay attacks. So, naturally, our attacking focus shifts from host to controller. Can we try to perform relay attacks against the controller? The BLE is a radio communication after all, referring RF relay solution to directly amplify the signal sounds feasible. But is it really viable? Stay calm and help me out on the serial below. Then you will be able to draw conclusions. This is a schematic diagram of a RF key relay. By shifting the low-frequency RF signal to 2.5 GHz for long-distance transmission, the effect of amplifying the RF signal is achieved. However, relay attacks against the BLE controller layer are not so easy to implement. BLE communications use frequency hopping technology, making it more difficult to predict the channel. In addition, the relay device needs to establish effectively time and synchronization relationships between the organization device and the target device to ensure successful relaying of communications. I will introduce the low energy controller. And before introducing our attack method, let's first understand the basis of the low energy controller. The operation of the link layer can be described in terms of a state machine with the following states. The first, the standby state, is the initial state where there is no data to transmitted or received, and the advertising state is the state where data can be sent over the advertising channels. The broadcast data can be received by entities in scanning or initiating states. It can also switch to connection state after a successful connection. The scanning state is the state where data can be received over the advertising channels. Scanners can also actively request additional data from the advertiser. And the initiating state is similar to scanning state, but a special receiving state. It sends a connection request after receiving data to establish a connection with the advertiser. After a successful connection, the initiator and the corresponding advertiser switch to the connection state. The connection state is the state where a dedicated channel is established with another entity. After a channel is established, also we call connect, the two parties in the connection state takes on the role of master and slave. As a supplement, in the keyless entry scenario, the Bluetooth keys, usually our phone, is normally in the scanning and initiating state, while the car is the advertising state. The phone as the initiator indicates a connection with the advertiser car. In BLE connections, the initiator is also called the master or central device, while the advertiser is called the slave or peripheral device. And the first figure shows the layer package format struct, which contains preamble, access address, and link layer PDU and CRC track. And the figure 2 shows the structure of link layer PDU, which contains header and payload. The connect int is a type of PDU payload whose parameters maintain the communication rules for each BLE link. What we need to know is that the BLE link layer parameters are negotiated when establishing a connection, and the original parameters are not included in subsequent data packages. There are some important parameters. First, access address. So the access address is identifier for establishing link layer communication. The initial link layer should generate a new access address for each initial PDU it sends, and the post-connection link will use this access address. And the interval. The connection interval is the periodical communication time after successful connection. Also, it is the time window of frequency hopping. The concept of connection interval is very important. Timeout, and the timeout is the parameter we need to pay attention to. Once the response exceeded this time, the device BLE link will time out and disconnect. The channel map indicates used and unused data channels. Bit value 0 indicates channel not used. Bit value 1 indicates channel used. And hope. Hope is a random value in the range 5 to 16, used as a hope increment in the data channel selection algorithm. So, the part 3, marginal line. The frequency hopping has become an obstacle to prevent RF relay. Before researching this field, I consult many industry professionals who believe the main difficulty was frequency hopping, and the BLE works in a crowded band and utilizes frequency hopping technology to avoid crowded spectra, and also introduce concepts like channel map. Frequency hopping is to improve link reliability in noisy environments. Frequency hopping technology also allows BLE to quickly switch to an undisturbed channel, thereby improving link reliability and stability. If a channel is interfered, the BLE device can choose an undisturbed channel in the next hopping slot to continue communication. This is the BLE request to establish a link layer connection, and the connection interval determines the time window for the connected parts to send and receive data. Communication outside this window will lead to timeout. If we adopt the approach of amplifying the RF signal, then the latency of protocols like TCP/IP will become an obstacle. Each response needs to be complete within the time period. So if one connection interval does not complete the interaction, such as C2P or P2C in the diagram, then the interaction between master and slave will fall. When the connection interval has no response exceeding the TIFS, the BLE protocol will determine the link is disconnected. And this figure shows a connection event for a BLE device. In this event, the initial communication occurs on channel 8. The certain device sends information to free-flow device and waits for a response within the time window range. After receiving the request, the free-flow device returns a response package on the same channel. After the communication is completed successfully, the communication hops to channel 25 and continues same operation, successfully completing the next communication. And the figure shows another connection event for BLE device. This time, we relay the BLE signal using TCP/IP. The initial communication occurs on channel 8. The central device sends information to the peripheral device and waits for a response. However, due to this extent of TCP/IP latency, when the device response returns, the central device have already hopped to channel 25 waiting for the next communication. Since the timeout event exceeding the limit, the central device considers the peripheral device disconnected and sends a terminal command, causing communication failure. This is why BLE cannot be simply relayed by amplifying the signal. Because for physical layer relay, you need to keep the hopping on both devices, make them synchronized, but the hopping frequency of the device is much higher than the TCP/IP latency. But the frequency hopping is actually a marginal line. Through practice, I found it can be bypassed. So, how can we relay? The answer is in the question itself. The entire data structure represents everything BLE transmits on the physical channel, but the most important one is the link layer PDU, which carries all host layer communication data for BLE. The other parameters are for maintaining this link, so we only need to deliver the link layer PDU and discard access address and CRC init. So, how can we bypass the marginal line? First, discard the access address parameter in the data packages. Separate link connections established on each side. The device negotiates connection parameters separately. Second, use empty package to fill each connection interval, such as C2P and P2C would before, and fill with interaction data if there is any. Each connection event is no longer affected by TCP/IP latency, avoiding this timeout caused by the no response. So, the second, after establishing the connection with empty packages, let device 1 and device 2 chat on each other, sending link layer control PDUs or link layer data PDUs. We are only responsible for relay these link layer PDUs. This is BLE link layer relay. Through package capture testing, I found device 1 and device 2 exchanging PDUs, and to my surprise, I discovered the ATT layer data was transmitted normally. So let's summarize the flow of BLE controller relay. So the step 1, relaying broadcast signal is not very difficult. Let the central city and send connect int request to the relayer, while the relayer send connection request to the peripheral. Although they are different links, try to synchronize parameters on both sides as much as possible, such as win size, win off size, interval latency. Set timeout to be long, and the access address and the CS init do not need to be synchronized. As I said earlier, what we want to discuss them. So, the step 2. After connection on both sides, the key step is that we need to use empty PDU to maintain this link and ensure the timely complete of interaction in each connection interval. This process will happen seamlessly on both sides and keep repeating throughout the entire relay experiment. And the second step, after the central device gets the connection success information, it will actively send link layer control and link layer data packages. We relay this data and send them to the peripheral device. The peripheral device will also relay with response pages. Our PDU exchange can allow these two devices to complete connections behavior even when they are far apart, such as exchanging information between devices, completing encryption key negotiation, synchronizing ATT layer information. When passive keyless entry is triggered, the phone key will initiate a challenge to the car. Once the challenge succeeds, the car will automatically unlock. The relay attack will complete after waiting for the interaction to complete. So, what about encrypted links? Bounded device will judge whether they have been paired before according to the pair's address. If it is legacy pair, it will directly index long LTK, and the security connection pairing will regenerate LTK through ECDH. And whether your own address is random or public, simulating MAC address can bypass it. If not recognized, the situation of missing key in the right figure will appear. And some vendors switch to Phi2 channel after encrypting link to enhance defense capability against the relay attacks. Specifically, after channel encryption, link layer control package will be encrypted, causing inability to parse their content. ALL control package contains important data about channel stage and hopping information. Thus, accurate tracking of channel changes become impossible. So, to prevent loss of tracking due to hopping, we choose to switch to 5-2 channel before encryption. By implementing this strategy, we avoid the impact of hopping on track. This keeps communication steady on a specific channel and provides more reliable channel tracking and control capabilities, so we can relay these links. So this is a demonstration video of our attack on a certain car. The owner locked the car and he leaves. And he is far away from his car. And the relay attack has started. Okay, we open the door. And one more thing, we need to start the car. So with success. In the end, there are few takeaways. The first, the BOE controller maintains link through sending empty packages. And the second, the essence of such relay attack is relaying link layer PDUs, which perfectly bypass relay detection based on TIFS. And some car key vendors claim to have adjusted TIFS to a very low value to defend against the relay attacks, but I think it is useless. And the second, the link layer encryption happens at SMP layer, carried by link layer PDUs, so our attacks method is able to relay encrypt links. And thank you for watching. Goodbye. See you next time.